How to talk in English. Lena remembered her first English class, a wave of apprehension washing over her. She desperately wanted to express herself fluently, to truly connect with people beyond her native tongue. The dream of seamless conversations felt incredibly distant, almost unreachable. She often wondered how to talk in English. Every time a teacher asked a question, Lena's mind went blank. Words scrambled, disappearing into a foggy abyss. She knew the grammar rules, countless vocabulary words, but combining them into fluid speech seemed impossible. This crippling fear of making mistakes paralyzed her. She observed how other people speak English, so effortlessly, so naturally. They laughed, debated, and shared stories without hesitation. Their confidence was a stark contrast to her own internal struggle. Lena longed for that same uninhibited expression. Her ultimate goal was clear: how to talk to anyone in English. Not just classroom phrases, but real, spontaneous conversations. To navigate a foreign city, to make new friends, to truly understand different cultures. This was her profound aspiration. Why I always make mistakes? This question echoed in her mind constantly. Every mispronounced word, every grammatical error felt like a giant spotlight on her inadequacy. The fear of judgment kept her silent, trapped in a linguistic cage. One day, her teacher, Ms. Evelyn, noticed Lena's quiet struggle. Ms. Evelyn, with her kind eyes, approached Lena after class. She gently explained that mistakes were not failures, but crucial stepping stones on the path to fluency. Ms. Evelyn suggested, "Start step by step talking, Lena. Don't try to master everything at once." This simple advice was a revelation. Lena had been overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the task, trying to leap instead of walk. Her first step was speaking just one new sentence each day. It felt tiny, almost insignificant, but it was a beginning. She practiced introducing herself, asking simple questions, slowly building a small repertoire of usable phrases. Then came the challenge: how to practice English. Ms. Evelyn introduced the concept of pair work, a dedicated time to talk to people in pairs. This felt terrifying initially, but also held a promise of real interaction. Her first partner was a boy named Kenji, equally shy. Their initial conversations were awkward, filled with long silences and hesitant words. Lena felt her face flush multiple times, but she persisted, remembering Ms. Evelyn's words. Slowly, painfully, their conversations improved. They started with basic introductions, moved to describing their weekends, and eventually shared opinions on simple topics. The comfort of a shared struggle fostered a unique connection between them. Lena began to realize that Kenji also made mistakes. Sometimes he mispronounced words, sometimes his grammar was incorrect, but they understood each other. This mutual imperfection strangely liberated her from her own fear of errors. Ms. Evelyn also emphasized listening. She said, "To learn English, you must first learn to listen." Lena started actively listening to conversations around her, not just for words, but for rhythm and intonation. Why reading is so important, Ms. Evelyn explained, is because it expands your vocabulary and reinforces grammar patterns unconsciously. Lena began reading simple English stories, then articles, and eventually short novels. She made reading a daily habit, even just for 15 minutes. The new words she encountered started appearing in her thoughts, then slowly, tentatively, in her spoken sentences. It was a subtle, yet powerful transformation. Lena also paid attention to how people speak English in movies and TV shows. She noticed natural pauses, common idioms, and the way accents shaped communication. This provided invaluable real-world examples. She tried mimicking phrases she heard, repeating them to herself in front of a mirror. This felt silly at first, but it helped her articulate sounds and practice intonation patterns, making her feel more comfortable with the physical act of speaking. A daunting but effective step was recording her own voice. Listening back to her English felt jarring initially, highlighting her mistakes. However, it also allowed her to pinpoint specific areas for improvement, like pronunciation. Lena started actively seeking opportunities to speak. She joined an online language exchange group, connecting with people from various countries. The virtual environment offered a less intimidating space to practice. Her first online conversations were still nerve-wracking, but the stakes felt lower than face-to-face interactions. She focused on expressing one idea clearly, then another, slowly building her conversational endurance. Every successful exchange, even a brief one, felt like a significant win. These small victories accumulated, slowly chipping away at her deeply ingrained fear of speaking. Confidence, she realized, was built brick by brick. When she made a mistake, instead of crumbling, she started to see it differently. It became a point for correction, a learning moment, not a reason for self-condemnation. This shift in mindset was pivotal. Repetition became her friend. Practicing the same phrases, repeating new vocabulary aloud, and rereading challenging texts cemented the information in her mind. This built a strong foundation. From simple daily routines, she expanded to talking about her hobbies, her dreams, and even her opinions on current events. The range of topics she could comfortably discuss steadily widened. She learned that how to talk in English wasn't just about knowing words. It was about flow, about connecting ideas, about using filler words naturally, and about understanding cultural nuances in communication. She observed other people talk in English more keenly now, not with envy, but with an analytical eye. She picked up on their conversational strategies, their ways of agreeing or disagreeing politely. She noticed how other people talk in English, adapting their speech to different situations. Formal or informal, quick or slow, they adjusted their pace and tone, a skill Lena consciously began to develop. Learning English, she realized, demanded immense patience. There were days of frustration, days when she felt no progress at all. But those were the days she reminded herself of her long-term goal. Ms. Evelyn always encouraged celebrating small progress. Lena started acknowledging her achievements, like successfully ordering food in English or understanding a complex joke. These moments fueled her motivation. She tried to create an English immersion environment at home, labeling objects, listening to English music, and even thinking in English during her daily chores became part of her routine. The transition from translating in her head to directly thinking in English was a major breakthrough. It sped up her response time and made conversations feel much more spontaneous and natural. The fear that once gripped her began to loosen its hold. She still made mistakes, of course, but now they felt less like catastrophes and more like minor bumps on a very long, exciting road. The day came when she found herself in a genuine, unscripted conversation with a tourist. She wasn't just answering questions, she was asking them, sharing details about her city, laughing easily. It was a liberating moment. The words flowed, not perfectly, but intelligibly. She felt a profound sense of connection, finally bridging the language gap that had seemed so vast for so long. Even after this success, Lena knew the journey wasn't over. Learning English was a continuous process. She committed to consistent practice, knowing that consistency was key to maintaining and improving fluency. She sought out new challenges, like participating in English-speaking clubs or volunteering for international events. These pushed her out of her comfort zone, forcing her to adapt to different accents and speaking styles. She realized how many people speak English, connecting a vast global community. This understanding gave her even more incentive to continue refining her skills, to truly become a part of that interconnected world. Her curiosity became a powerful tool. She was no longer afraid to ask, "What does that mean?" Or "Can you explain that?" This open approach to learning accelerated her progress significantly. A sign of true progress was when she started understanding and even telling jokes in English. Humor, she found, was deeply embedded in culture, and mastering it meant a deeper level of comprehension. She also started developing her own personal speaking style, not just mimicking others. Her personality began to shine through her English, making her conversations authentic and engaging. Her English transcended basic functional communication. She could now express complex emotions, debate abstract ideas, and share nuanced opinions, things she once thought impossible. This newfound linguistic ability cascaded into other areas of her life. Her general confidence grew, making her more assertive and willing to take on new challenges in her academic and professional pursuits. Lena even found herself informally mentoring newer students, sharing her own journey. She told them, "Don't fear mistakes. They are your best teachers. Embrace them." Her advice resonated deeply. Her reading expanded to more complex literary works and academic papers. This further enriched her vocabulary and deepened her understanding of sophisticated sentence structures. She learned to differentiate between formal and informal English, adjusting her language use based on the context and the person she was speaking with. This showed true linguistic mastery. She trained her ear to pick up different pronunciations and cadences, realizing that the incredible diversity of speech was a beautiful and enriching aspect of the English language. The greatest reward was the joy of genuine connection. She could now share her thoughts, feelings, and experiences with a much wider range of people, forging deeper bonds across cultures. The old paralysis, the fear of how to talk in English, or why I always make mistakes, had completely vanished. It was replaced by an eagerness to communicate, a joy in expression. Even as a confident speaker, Lena knew that learning never truly stopped. There were always new words, new idioms, new nuances to discover. The journey was endless and endlessly fascinating. She dreamt of traveling the world, using her English to navigate new countries, connect with locals, and truly immerse herself in global experiences, all thanks to her perseverance. English wasn't just a subject anymore. It was a living, breathing entity. It was a tool for exploration, a bridge to understanding, and a key to unlocking countless new opportunities. Her advice to anyone struggling echoed her own journey's lessons. Start small, find a partner, read everything you can get your hands on, listen actively to diverse voices, and most importantly, embrace every single mistake you make. They are truly your best teachers on this incredible linguistic journey. From a timid student filled with self-doubt, Lena had transformed into a confident, articulate speaker. Her journey was a testament to the power of consistent effort and a positive mindset. A whole new world of possibilities had opened up for her, all because she dared to take that first step and persisted through the challenges. English had become her passport to a broader, richer life. She smiled, remembering her initial struggles. The path wasn't easy, but every hesitant word, every challenging conversation had led her to this point, to the joy of speaking English freely.